Like,
So, so my father was a really good runner when he was in college, high school, and he kind of realized that as he got older, there's not really a at that time there wasn't really much of a career for running besides maybe going to the Olympics or having little state events here and there. So he kind of transitioned into soccer and got really into soccer in the 70s when soccer really wasn't a thing in the United States besides a few things here and there. And Pele came over and played with the Cosmos for a little
right.
bit. But after he met my mother, and obviously, they got married and had kids. I have an older brother and younger sister. Um, he was all about soccer, and so we just loved it from the get go. And I mean, we have pictures in the house from when I'm 2 years old and running around the backyard and kicking a ball, and so it's been in my life for forever. And I have an older brother who was, I always say this in every interview I do, who was much better than I am. He didn't end up going professional, just because of various reasons and wanting to be in different environments. But I've been around the sport for my whole life, and so yeah, in Middleton, at the time there was tons and tons of clubs, and of course everybody knows this with American soccer, that the youth clubs, it's kind of a pay to play situation, which I hope one day changes. I hope, even I have a daughter now, and I hope when she starts to play that there starts to be progress towards free play, because that's how it is in other countries. And so my father didn't want us to do the typical travel teams and be with the day-to-day people I see all the time. He wanted me to kind of be outside of my comfort zone, and my brother as well. And so I actually played all of my youth career with a really tiny club called Chivas Denver. So in Mexico, they have the big monster
Right.
Chivas
Right.
Guadalajara, and so they have tons of feeder clubs around the world, basically. And what happened was Denver had a player who had been in the academy and then went up to the first team, and kids that were, a lot of them were illegal. They were from all over the world, and I found myself mixed in with these guys, and I'd say 90% of the guys there were Latinos. So Spanish was the only thing
Yeah.
spoken, and so I had to learn. And it was amazing because these kids were so good, and they played a different kind of soccer than I've ever seen from like club soccer. They were just free, and it was like playing on the streets. And I grew up with that, and I grew up like being in a really real world environment, because these kids, they have nothing besides soccer, and their families were dirt poor. And so it used to be, I give you an example, like nowadays, like club soccer for a season, it's like $2,500, $3,000 a year. It's crazy. We used to pay